Hey everyone, this is Larry from wstrades.com. Today I'm going to go over the FAANG stocks, which is Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. So all the big movers in the market. Typically, they kind of drive the market, whatever they're doing. If they're all in sync, either selling off or rallying, then the market kind of follows their lead. So it's good to kind of keep an eye on them. So right now I have Facebook pulled up, or now Meta platforms. Interesting. On the weekly time frame. So when you kind of can't see a particular trend, then it's good to go out to a larger time frame. The weekly kind of shows you trends a lot easier than, say your 5-minute chart or anything like that. It's kind of just chop at that point. But if you go out to a larger time frame, it's a lot easier to identify trends and price action. So right now I am on the weekly, like I said, and as you can see, Facebook pretty much since the beginning of the year just been on a fat uptrend. It's never been below this 14 period EMA. As you can see, came down, touched it, rallied, came down, touched it, rallied, and then you have this fat sell-off in September, just sold off super hard right to this 55 EMA. And then now we're seeing a nice little rally up. So right here, I would say that this last week's candle's really indecisive. It's basically a doji. So yeah, the price action buyers tried to get this thing up above the 350 level, about 353, then sold off. Sellers tried to crush this thing under 335, and buyers stepped in, brought it back, and it pretty much ended up right where it started the week. For me, everything's looking good for a nice rally. This thing's coming off the overbought area on the RSIL, and it's now trading above the 21. It's not breaking below that since last week or 2 weeks ago, when it actually closed above it. But as you can see, sellers tried to crush this thing below it, and buyers stepped in, ended up closing above it. Same thing here. Now it's trading off of that, or it's sorry, the 21 EMA is acting like some nice support these past 2 weeks. So for me, looks like this thing's going to rally, but this, I'd say 350 level is a key level for them to actually close above. And I'm going to go to the daily time frame. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Zoom into this section. So yeah, if they can close above 350, which this candle couldn't, it's just below it, then close above that, then I'd say that this thing is going to be in a nice uptrend. Don't know where the price target would be. Probably looks like they had some trouble breaking through. Yeah, so if they can go above 355, they had trouble, during that September sell-off and everything, getting above that, then I'd say that's going to start acting like some support. Then, at that point, if they can start closing above that, probably going to see an all-time high. There's lots of news coming out on them. It's Facebook. There's always news coming out on them. So, yeah, on the daily chart, same thing. Zoom in. Momentum on the TTM. Nice upward momentum. The MACD's crossed to positive. It's almost crossed the 0 line. So, yeah, everything's telling me Facebook's going to start making a little bit of high. But, like I said, that 350 level is kind of key for them. So I'd like to see them close above that before I'd actually say that they're going to be in a nice little uptrend. And they're so close to the all-time high, that's probably where they're going to start hitting resistance again. All right, now let's check out Amazon. All right, got Amazon pulled up on the daily. I'm going to zoom out to the weekly and see things are a little clearer. Yeah, so this thing was trading off this 55 EMA on the weekly chart pretty well. As you can see, once it closes below the 21, like right in this area, that started, looks like 10/26/20, just started trading off this 21 on the weekly beautifully. It wouldn't go below it. You got some nice sideways chop, like up weeks, down weeks, which is typical cyclical markets. And then once it finally closed below that 21, you had some nice selling action. It started acting like some sort of resistance. Closes above it, same thing, just chopping around it. And yeah, this week where we sold through it and hit that 55 again, and then rallied and like it's trading on that 21 again, and then made a nice fat rally up to this 2 ATR level, and it sold off just a bit in the week. So yeah, it's probably everything again. Momentum's coming off of this thing, or in an upward momentum. RSIL is about to go into the overbought area, which is a good thing in this indicator. So yeah, it's looking like Amazon's probably going to test that all-time high, and they're so close to it. That's when that's kind of the make or break area. Is if buyers can actually get it above an all-time high, like we've seen in SPY recently in the past week or so, where it got to that all-time high level, and this time it really didn't even stop. It just we just had buying in SPY. So or the Qs, I'm sorry, the Qs, which is, big tech stocks like Amazon caused that. So yeah, it's looking like Amazon's probably going to test that all-time high at about 3,773, and we'll see what it does from there. If it can break above that, then you're probably going to see a fat move higher. But yeah, if it does hit that level and starts to sell off, then I'd anticipate not too bad of a sell. If I'm saying this thing's probably going to go around $3,500 before kind of chopping around and making a move towards that all-time high again. Let's go to Apple now. APL. Yeah, so I've got this trend line. Apple's completely different from where Facebook and Amazon, where I'm kind of bullish on them. I think they're going to make some moves higher. Apple's a little bit different, and it's just because of this trend line that I've got drawn out. So this trend line goes back to about 8/31/20, and then it hits this trend line again on what's this, January of 2021. We sell off, kind of chop around a bit, and this goes back to when they had that split. So that trend line's pretty powerful. You've got it hitting 3 times, now 4, and it couldn't break through it. And last week you just saw this big rally, just nothing but buying on Apple this week, or last week. And we're at this kind of key level with this trend line. Now looking at the indicators, momentum on the TTM squeeze this week is in an upward direction. Same thing with the RSIL, and the fractal energy's coming off, which is showing that this thing's in a nice uptrend, but we're at this key level. So I don't know. I'm gonna go to the daily, see if I can see something on that actually. Yeah, God, in my head I'm saying it hasn't broken above this trend line before. It's not going to this time, but every indicator is telling me this thing's going to break through this level, and we might see a nice big substantial move in Apple if they can actually close above this trend line, and it'll start acting like support for them. So in my head I'm saying this thing's going to sell off, but looking at everything kind of logically, all of the indicators, it's saying Apple's not going to stop at this trend line this time. So I don't know. Keep an eye on this trend line. If it can break through it this week, then we could see a fat move in up the upward direction of Apple. If not, then I'd say this thing's probably, I put a price target of 150 on Apple if they can't break through this trend line. Now next, let's go to Netflix. All right, and yeah, just like all the other FAANG stocks, just nothing but buying basically. Go to the weekly chart on them. I've got these trend lines drawn out from a long time ago. This one actually, I can see, isn't doing anything anymore, so I'm going to remove this. All right, yeah, straight massive uptrend. This thing's a little different. You've got the momentum just super overextended in this fat rally we had off of It's the date 8/16/21. It's just basically just nothing but buying, and you had this bit of a pullback in looks like September, and then just again just buying, buying, buying. One bad week, and then more buying. This last week is kind of a bad sign for Netflix. You've got this big wick sticking out of the top of this candle that shows you that buyers tried to bring this thing up, or they did take it to an all-time high, and then as soon as it hit that high, just sold off. And it actually sold off below these two candles, so not a great sign. So yeah, man, Netflix has been hanging out in this overbought territory for a long time. I actually wouldn't anticipate them to keep moving higher. I'd say they're due for a pullback, but let me go to the daily on them. Yeah, you've got the past two, so Thursday and Friday of this week, just selling and selling. So didn't come down to this 21. I don't know. That's a key number I'd keep an eye on, about 666. If they can close above that and kind of just chop around, then it's a good sign. But I don't know. I think they're probably going to come down and test around 666. So, yeah, looks like Amazon, or sorry, God, these FAANG stocks. Netflix, I'd anticipate it's going to start making a move down. Kind of test that 21 EMA, if not a little bit lower. Looks like they had support. They might actually come down and test like the 630 or 640 level right here. I'd actually like to see that before making a move higher, but we'll see. Amazon, or oh my God, Netflix looks like they're probably going to start making a move lower. All right, let's go to Google now. Zoom out. All right, yeah, so you're basically at all-time highs again. Just keeps on testing it on Google. Let me zoom in. So yeah, we've came, what is this? 11.8 candle came up. I believe this was an all-time high for them. Had a nice sell-off to the 21, and then pretty much rallied from that point. Yeah, this candle, again, isn't great for Google, but we're just kind of chilling around this all-time high. Indicators, yeah, so the fractal's coming down. It's saying, actually wouldn't, man, this one's kind of tough. Looking at the price action, looks like the MACD could cross under at any time. It's super tight. Zoom in. Yeah, so you can barely see. That's why I made this indicator. That's the TTM squeeze and the MACD put in one, and I had to put this label on it because times like this. So it's still cross positively, and it is way above the zero line, but super close to crossing into negative territory, and it looks like they just cannot break above this, close above this level. It's like 3,024 level. So yeah, it's a key level for me. I'd be looking at is if they can close above that. If not, then I'd say I'd put a price target of around, oh, they're already right there. Ah, man, I don't know, 29.35 before they come try and make a new high. It just kind of depends on market sentiment. Obviously everything does, but with the FAANG stocks, they pretty much lead the way. So yeah, man, this is a tough one. I'd say this thing's probably going to start retracing. I'd put a price target of, I don't know, we'll say, looks like some nice support here. So like 29.30 max, and then that's another key level. If it can hold above that, then I'd say we're probably going to rally to an all-time high again on Google. If it doesn't, then I don't know, you could put a price target of 27 or about 2,800 on them, see if that holds. But yeah, so I'm thinking Google is going to start making a little move higher. So basically FAANG stocks kind of mixed, but overall looks like everything is going to start moving higher. I know there was the big budget proposal, so yeah, the spending package passed the Senate passed the House, and it's going to the Senate, where they're going to try and pass it. It doesn't seem like they are, and it's kind of, I think, what's been propping up the market this past week or so, is news of, you know, they're going to pass this bill, finally going to pass the spending bill, figure stuff out, and you know, now it passes the House, but it's got to pass the Senate and then hit Biden's desk. So not 100% confident that it will. So if you do get news that, you know, it's stalled in the Senate, then, you know, I'm thinking the market's going to have a nice little correction, which it's well overdue in my opinion. So anyways, it's my technical analysis on the FAANG stocks. If you guys have any tickers you'd like me or James to take a look at and give our opinion on the technical analysis of them, you can leave them in the description, and please like and subscribe.